Unfortunately, in 2008, on December 26th, my best friend was murdered. He was murdered somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30 at night, and he wasn't found until about 3 hours later. This personally touched my life in a way that is just irreversible, obviously. But he was my best friend since the time we were 18 years old, and he was murdered when he was 37. He would have deeply appreciated being commemorated by and being commemorated with something of this nature. What I think is so unique about this is that you actually will get some sort of illustration that is representative of the enormity of the number of people that go unwitnessed and just sort of left. I don't know how else to say that. Left in the wake of all of this. Family, friends, when somebody is ripped out of your life, 5 years later, I'm here and I'm still very emotional about it. He was my best friend. And being able to step back and see that everybody lost a family member, a child, a friend, a lover, a companion, in a sudden and violent way isn't something that ever goes away. And when you have 9,000 of them, that means that, let's say, for each outline, 3 or 4 people have lost a part. At least 3 or 4 people have lost somebody they deeply love. The problem is that we've become entirely desensitized to it. Crimes have to get more and more severe, more and more horrific, more and more horrible in order to get the media attention that they deserve, whereas murder has become commonplace. And I think I feel like this event is focusing on the devastation through just the numbers that happens not only from the person's life that is ended. That is a horrific event, but the stain that is left over on somebody's life that remains, who's lost that person. Whenever something goes unwitnessed, there's a feeling of injustice, unfairness, and the world keeps moving. And you wake up the next day and you've lost something tragically, suddenly, violently, and you think, yeah, they caught the guy, yes, he's in prison, and it still doesn't get you what you want. So the healing, for me, at least comes in that my friend Carl is not forgotten. 5 years later, this matters to people. So much so that they're taking a Saturday morning with tons of planning. Tons of people whose lives haven't been touched by murder recognize the pain and the suffering that causes for the rest of people's lives. You lose, how do I say this? You lose yourself to those dates. So, 5 years later, Christmas is not fun for me. Christmas is not fun for me, and I don't expect Christmas to be sort of this joyful time for me, ever. It's something that is deeply tainted. So whatever date that falls on, whatever date you lose somebody like that, it's forever marked in you for your whole life. The healing comes that it doesn't go unwitnessed. It doesn't go in vain. It's something that mattered. This matters. His death matters. Being shown and illustrated that they matter. Due to my certain sort of set of circumstances, having my life touched by murder is unusual. And have people of all different backgrounds, all different cultures, who's how do I say this? Who are recognizing and sort of making murder part of their language, like really looking at the horror of it, really looking at how, the person that dies, the murder doesn't stop with the person that dies. And I lived my life really outside of, murder's awful, that's terrible, we all know that. But until it touches your life specifically and intimately, no one has any idea what that's like. At a very young age, to start wrapping your mind around that kind of suffering and to start sort of integrating that into your heart and realizing that this matters. It just matters. It might be one of the things that matters more than just anything else is basic human life. And particularly in this country, when we spend so much time focused on other countries, and I'm not minimizing their suffering whatsoever. That is not my intent. And my intent is to draw focus to the suffering that surrounds gun violence. Pulling the trigger is one thing, the person that you bury is another thing, and then what is left after that. So really beginning to wrap their minds around the cause and effect, the waves, the ramifications through people's lives. I'm very grateful for that because I was not that sensitive. I did not become that sensitive and that tuned until it affected my life.